Good morning, everyone. It's Julie Boyer here. I'm super excited to be back with one of my self-love interviews, and I've got my good friend, Jennifer Lyall. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you so much. Yay! Happy to be here with you.
Oh, I'm so excited because Jennifer is actually an intuitive business mentor, which I think it's putting all three of these amazing words together that makes Jennifer's work super special. We met many years ago through our networking circles. And what I remember, Jennifer, about one of the first times we met is that you had a pendulum. And I was like, what is this lady doing with this little like pendulum on a stone? I don't know. What is she doing? But you stood up and you were like, I'm going to teach you, how to use your intuition to build your business. And I was like, all right, sure, this sounds kind of kooky, but whatever. And this was like a long time ago before I had really been introduced to energy work. And now I actually use it in my own life. I've learned the value of using your intuition, using things like a pendulum to help with that. And really what I remember most about, you, Jennifer, from all these years that we've known each other is that you've always been kind of a leader in energy work and intuition and talking about topics that weren't really popular, weren't well known. I really see you as someone who is a leader and at the forefront of this beautiful energy and intuitive business movement. So I would love to hear your story, if you wouldn't mind sharing with us a little bit about how you got to where you are today.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for that beautiful introduction and for sharing how yeah, I can remember that exact meeting, that presentation that I did, and I can remember that connection. So it's so wonderful that it stuck with you. So I dove into the spiritual world, not really by choice. Like it wasn't something that I had intended to do. I actually started my business back in 2008 with a video podcast called Vitamin Junkies. And my intention was to inspire people to be proactive about their health. And I released over 50 episodes with a naturopathic doctor. And I just thought, this would be great. I can work part time while my kids are in school and, make a bit of money and it'll be easy peasy lemon squeezy. But it wasn't quite so easy peasy lemon squeezy because I didn't have any designations behind me. And I didn't know why anybody would want to listen to me with just being a mom who was passionate about wellness. So back in 2008, that was when podcasting was just starting to take off. Natural health was starting to build momentum too. So it was great timing in a lot of ways. But because I had this sort of imposter syndrome, it wasn't quite going the way I thought it could or it should. So I dabbled with a bit of corporate wellness because I have a background in event planning. I actually have a Bachelor of Commerce. So I came from a very logical mind, very methodical and a high achiever. And so I blended my background in event planning with wellness and started to focus on corporate wellness. But I don't know if you remember what was going on in 2008, but at that time there was a recession happening. So I'd literally be going knocking on doors and there'd be like no receptionist there because they'd let so many people go. Right. And
Wow.
so
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
got a handful of clients and I came to this place where I was really only working part-time, but expecting full-time results. But I felt so inauthentic because I didn't have a proper structure for my business. So I said, okay, I didn't quite know who I was talking to at the time, but it was March 2010. I sat on the couch, pitch black outside. Everyone else in the house was asleep. And I just said, all right, I give myself permission to figure out what makes my heart sing. And it was like in that statement, it was like the universe, God, angels, your higher self, whatever you want to call it. It's like, all right, she's finally listening now. Send in the signals, send in the signals. And then I discovered a pendulum. I discovered dowsing. I discovered crystals, oracle cards, meditation. And I went on this deep dive within to figure out what made my heart sing. And truly, it just is an act of surrendering to discover what's within you already. My uncle's an energy healer, and he had told me
Oh.
that there's one in every generation. And I came to realize, like, I was a family massage therapist. I'm the baby of 7. My eldest brother, he's 18 years older than me. And I asked my mom, why me? Like, why did I become the family massage therapist? And she said, well, when your big brother hurt his back, he was lying on the living room floor with his back out and you would rub his back. And then everyone in the family said, you can rub my back too. And I actually looked at becoming a massage therapist when I was in high school, but the idea of putting my hand on hairy people's back, that just did not appeal to me. So it's like, okay, not that. But with that, like I did always enjoy massage. And so what I didn't realize is that I was actually flowing energy at the time. And
Okay.
so through something called automatic writing, which is where you're just sort of in this meditative kind of state. And it's not that you're thinking with your logical mind, but there's just like these thoughts that come through you and you just kind of write it all out. You don't really know what those words are. Through automatic writing, I was given instructions for my own modality, literally from stick figure drawings with waves over it. Move the energy this way, move it that way, say this prayer here, this affirmation there, here's a script for meditation, go do a case study. I was given my own modality called Connect to You. And the intention of that work is to connect the soul with the heart and the mind. So our intuitive brain with our emotional brain and our logical brain, so we can listen to our intuition and just really blend the wisdom from all those three brains so that we can really be more confident with who we are, tune into our purpose. And really, the people that I work with these days are a lot of entrepreneurs who want to fulfill their purpose through their business.
There's a lot in there. Wow.
That
was
I'm going to
quite
pause.
a little journey in like 3 minutes. I'm trying to like keep up because there's so many little things actually that I didn't know about your story. And I love kind of the way you came to figuring out, this isn't quite what I need to be doing, and you listened and you were quiet and you did it. Can you just go back to a little bit about the connecting of the brains you said? You kind of went through that quickly. Can you just say that one more time, what we're trying to connect? And because you're doing that work, I think now with entrepreneurs, right?
Yes, yes. So we have three brains. And I remember once hearing this gentleman who had connected in with this native person from South America, I believe it was. And this native person had talked about how we have three brains. We have our intuitive brain, our gut instinct,
Okay.
our emotional brain and our heart, and our logical brain. And native people who are very connected to the earth, they operate more from the intuitive brain. In developed countries, we tend to go more from our logical brain.
Yeah.
And we operate disconnected from our heart and from our soul. So my modality, Connect to You, the intention of that work is to connect the soul with the heart and the mind, inviting that ego to take a break. Go ahead and have a seat in that lazy boy, and then let the soul have a little bit more control. And it can feel a little wonky. So what happened for me was I had this crazy spiritual experience as I was sitting on my couch one morning where I felt like something was poking around in my stomach and poking around in my head. And when I did my automatic writing to say, what was that? I was told, well, we've just unlocked and opened the door to your soul. And it's actually been unlocked for some time. You just didn't have the courage or the know-how of how to let it out. And we were just making room in your head for your soul to have more control. And so with my modality, it's a really beautiful, sacred, divine experience where we clear karma from past lifetimes, future lifetimes, this lifetime, just energy that's not serving you and that's preventing you from being courageous with stepping into who you are right now, and then guiding them through meditation to connect the soul with the heart and the mind. And then for the weeks that follow, guiding my clients and how do you listen, going a little bit deeper with listening to the intuition. And that pendulum was actually a really key component for me to let go of control, because when you're trying to douse and you really need an answer right now, like
Doesn't work.
it impacts the outcome.
It does.
You have to surrender and let go. And it took me a year really to develop the accuracy and trust with my pendulum. But what I love about it, so this isn't an official pendulum, this is just a like doohickey.
That's okay. Yeah.
That I have. And so if somebody was listening to this and not watching, I just have a piece of string with a weight. It's a keychain actually on the end, but the weight of it allows it to move. So with a pendulum, I can ask questions, yes, no, yes, but, no, but, and do questions on a scale of 1 to 10. I've used it for all sorts of different things, for planning vacations, choosing which suppliers to work with, choosing which events to go to, and which invitations to say yes to and no to.
And I actually love it because I was like not really sure about if this actually worked or not. And so one of my really good friends, Karen Shumka, who I did an earlier interview with, she does some work with energy code and body code. And that work really relies very heavily on using the pendulum to get to where you need to go. And I would just watch her work and I'm like, I I don't understand, but it's definitely moving and she's not doing it
Yeah.
because she's so tapped into the field and just is listening and receiving the messages. So I have used it myself and it is amazing. And she said, like, you ask the question, then you think about like kittens and something totally different. And then you'll get your answer will show up. But if you're focusing on like, yes, 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 or no, 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 nothing happens. And I thought that was so interesting. And I really love how it's something we can learn and train ourselves to do. And it's a tool, right? It's basically a tool to tap into our intuition, into our higher self, into our higher power, and really like go to that gut brain and say like, what is happening? And I love how you explain the three because I do talk a lot about using your gut brain. I actually talk a lot about digestion and detoxification, but I talk about it, yes, from a physical perspective, but also from an understanding that there's a lot going on there that has to do with how we think and how we act and how we show up in the world. And if your gut is sick, it really does impact so many other things in your life. So,
Goosebumps as you say that, by the way, just so
what's
you know.
that?
Goosebumps all over my crown chakra as you say.
Oh,
Yeah, really, really significant part of the message that you're sharing for connecting the physical with the intuitive. Really huge.
and I think that's what you're doing as well. Like, because entrepreneurship feels like it's all up here, but I mean,
And
it's
and
not, right?
it's not. I really believe it's our superpower, right? Because it really helps us with guiding us. It's where we get out of the way of the logical brain of what is logically possible. Because if we kept it focused on what's logically possible, we probably would never have flown, right?
Yeah.
There's so many inventions that would not have occurred if we stayed in that logical, linear kind of thinking. We have to tap into a new realm of possibility and creativity. And that really is in the gut area and the sacral area as well. Yeah, really powerful.
So, one of the reasons I wanted to connect with you, of course, is because this whole series has been about self love. And the work that you're doing, I feel, is so connected to self love and connecting with ourselves on that level. Can you share a little bit about what that looks like in your practice, in your work?
Oh, absolutely. So I have to take care of me first and throughout the day in order to be able to show up as the best version of me for my clients and for
Right.
me and my family. And when we're depleted, then we just can't do what we need to do. And what's funny is that sometimes people don't even realize what is going on as an undercurrent for the way we talk to people, the edge in our voice, the lack of sleep for whatever, or why we're really feeling cranky. So I created, or I was given, to be quite honest, a system called my energy check, where I teach people how to check in with their energy on a scale of 1 to 10. How do I feel physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually? Getting really tuned into how am I feeling, and then understanding why am I rating myself that. And it's really surprising some of the answers that come up. What it does is it expands your inner awareness. So I do this as part of my morning check-in and my evening routine along with gratitude. And I also do check-in at least once in the middle of the day. Ideally, I want to do it several times through the day, because the more often we do it, we can kind of do course correct,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Because if we are just constantly draining ourselves and just always giving, 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 and doing, 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 we're draining our bucket. Like your phone will go kaput, right? It needs time to recharge, and so do we. So this little system is just as easy and simple and as powerful as recharging our phone and checking the battery on our phone, doing a check-in for us. And if we had time, I could show it to you, and if not, I can tell you how to figure out how to do it.
Well, I think that let's take a moment. If you can show us a little bit. I mean, I know if you're listening, it might not be the same, but please show us
Well,
if you can share with us. I would love to see that.
yeah, absolutely. So all you need to do is take a pause for a moment. And so you might want to close your eyes if it's safe for you to do so. And take a breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And just ask yourself, ask your body on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being low, 10 being high, how do I feel physically? First number that comes to you. And then if you were to do a quick body scan, what's going on? Is there something that feels really good? Anything that feels achy? Anything that feels slow or tight? What's going on? Why are you rating yourself that? So Julie, what's the first number that came to your mind for how you feel physically?
8, actually.
Awesome. And what do you get around that?
So everything feels pretty good. I have some soreness in my hip, but everything else is actually feeling pretty darn good today.
Awesome. That's great. I got a 9. I had an osteopath appointment earlier, so that I'm sure
Yeah.
contributed to that. So I'm feeling pretty good, but I do feel like my back actually feels happy because I got some extra stretching with that and a little extra TLC. Okay. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel emotionally? First number.
10, actually. That popped into my head right away.
Awesome.
Because of our beautiful call.
Yes.
Such a great way to start my day.
Absolutely. And so the great call. Anything else coming up for you? Any emotions?
I'm feeling really good. I'm recovered from my jet lag. I also had a session with my massage therapist yesterday who does Chinese cupping and hot stone massage and all of that. I feel it moved my energy in a beautiful way. And I feel this sense of feeling back to being myself after traveling.
Oh,
Good.
that's huge.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to ask you how you feel mentally in just one moment, but let me just give you the context.
Okay.
So if I was to give you a question that's difficult, a problem to solve that's difficult, but it's in your zone of genius, so something you love to do, on a scale of 1 to 10, how easy would it be for you right now?
In this moment, it would be a 9.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts or anything coming up around how you're feeling mentally?
You know what I've learned is that whenever I start my day with any kind of these beautiful interviews or connection with people, I mentally, my state of mind is heightened for at least until lunchtime. It really impacts my day in a super, super positive way.
Awesome. That's fantastic. I'm feeling really good mentally too. I get a 10 and I feel like I'm really alert, focused, and just clear headed. Now, the last one is on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel spiritually? So this might be your connection to your faith if you are of a particular religion. So if you believe in God or Allah, Buddha, whatever that may be.
Yes.
If you're not of a particular religion, but you believe in a universe or the overall higher power, or maybe it's your higher self. And if any of this just doesn't resonate with you, perhaps it's your purpose, your connection to your purpose. So on a scale of 1 to 10 right now, how connected do you feel
I feel 10. I feel very connected. I feel grounded. I feel connected to God. That works for me. I feel connected to my purpose. I feel connected spiritually. This conversation, this way of thinking, this way of talking resonates with me at such a high spiritual level.
Awesome. And I'm a 10 as well, feeling like my heart's really connected in with your heart, with this higher power, and just feel like we're having a really juicy powwow here going on. So I love it. And that's it. So that is the essence of my energy check. And it's so simple to do. It only took us a few minutes, and it's quicker as you get accustomed to it. But what comes for me is if I ever rate myself lower than a 7, I need to stop in that moment and do something to boost my energy. So whether it's going out into nature, doing a meditation, doing some stretching, maybe it could be as simple as getting a drink of water or eating or doing some deep breaths. But it's really easy peasy lemon squeezy. And then as you do this over 66 days to create a habit, that's when you start to see the juiciness. It's called a foundational habit, a keystone habit, which then it causes you to do other really good things.
So, I usually actually ask when we finish an interview is like, what one thing would you recommend someone start doing today? So can we just review what were the 4 things we were checking in on?
Sure. P, physically. E, emotionally. M, mentally. S, spiritually. PEMS.
PEMS. Okay. This does not take long. It only takes a few moments. So we can absolutely find a moment for this in our day, maybe once or twice a day. And what's wonderful is that if people have been watching some of this series and following along, all those things that we can do to shift, there's been so many different suggestions on how to shift our energy. So we can use your technique of checking in, the energy check, and then we can use other ideas and suggestions that we might have heard from other interviews to what do we do to shift. And it's going to be different, like you said, for each person. One of my favorite things to do is to go outside into nature, check in with some gratitude, like you said. Gratitude does shift our energy so quickly, right? It's one of those wonderful things that shifts. So
Absolutely. It's really huge.
thank you for that gift. That was wonderful. And
So,
yeah, my numbers were really high in this moment because I'm vibrating at a high level because of this connection with you. And I had another beautiful phone call with another friend before, and I watched I'm watching my own videos again, every morning. So like layering on that beautiful positivity and mental strength in the morning can really affect in a positive way someone's day. So Jennifer, I just thank you so much for that beautiful gift. Um, I know people are going to want to connect with you because you just have this amazing, beautiful sense of energy and connection and so many gifts to share. So, what's the best place to find you?
absolutely. So you can go to my website, jlyall.com. And actually, right on the homepage there, you can learn more about a 7-day energy transformation where I walk you through that same process in a little deeper level.
Oh, beautiful. And then you are also on Facebook.
I am LIV Healthy by Jennifer Lyall. LIV
Okay,
Healthy by Jennifer Lyall.
amazing. And then do we still have the YouTube channel or the podcast? Is that still something you're working on, or is that
So that podcast is complete.
okay?
Yeah, that was Vitamin Junkies, and that was a long time ago. I
Oh,
do still
wow.
have a YouTube channel, but mostly on Facebook.
Okay, that's the
But
best place to find you then. I
yeah,
find that, we each have our own places where we spend most of our time. So I'll be sure to share those links with people so that they can connect with you. I've really enjoyed our time together. Thank you so much for sharing your gifts and really opening our eyes. And hopefully, like so many years ago, you had that first conversation with me. It really, opened my eyes to what's possible in an energetic way and in an intuitive way. And I hope that this video also inspires others in the same way.
awesome. And thank you so much for this opportunity. It's been so much fun connecting. Yay!
Yay!